When it comes to building your very own 7-figure personal brand, there are 3 important steps that you need to complete. The first one is you need to build your own audience, then you need to build your own database, and then the third and final step is actually the easiest step, and that is that you need to generate extra sales. And the reason for why that third step is the easiest is because if you have built an audience and a database that know and trust you, the sales process becomes really, really easy. What the problem is that many people who want to create their own 6 or 7-figure personal brand, they go straight to step 3. And then they're stressing out the fact that they're not generating any sales. But the reason for why they're not generating sales is because they haven't first gone through those first 2 important steps. So what I want to do in this video is I want to take you through how you can really succeed at those first 2 steps. Because as I said, once you get those 2 steps down, the third step, selling and generating extra income, is actually the easiest step. Just in case we haven't met yet, my name is Aaron Young and I'm from 7-Figure Coaching. And what I'm going to be taking you through is a process I went through myself. If we've never met before and you don't know my story, 3 years ago, I was a stressed out freelancer, busy trading, time for money, trying to keep my clients happy, and then also trying to carve out still some personal life with my family and my closest friends. And since that time, in the last 3 years, I'm now a 7-figure creator. I know that's still funny for me to even say. And we've enrolled over 4,500 students in our courses. And in my business niche, which is around about our 7-figure brand, which is all about teaching people Google Ads, we've now got the largest YouTube channel in that niche. And just in the last month, I was announced as a top 3 performer for total sales on the Kajabi platform in Australia. So what I want to be sharing with you is how I got through those first 2 steps so that we're able to very, very quickly move to a 7-figure personal brand. Now, the big thing that I want to stress here is that for me, yes, it's great getting that extra income, but the power behind it is what it's not only done for my life, but also for the amount of people that we're able to impact. So not only am I now working less, so I've got more time for my family and my friends, but we're also helping far more people than I ever thought would be possible. And that's the amazing thing. And for me, that's the power of a 7-figure brand, is that it becomes a win-win situation where not only are you able to really spend more quality time with the people that you love, those ones closest to you, but you're also at the same time helping more people and truly helping more people than you ever thought was possible. And if that's a similar journey that you also want to go on, you would like to follow in those steps, if you go through and follow the link in the description below or see the show notes, or go and visit 7figurecoaching.co. That's 7, and that's the number 7, 7figurecoaching.co/start. You'll get access to some extra teaching where I take you through extra steps of how you can go through the sales process so that you can start building your own 7-figure brand. But as I said, before we get there, you need to cover these first 2 steps to go through and see that extra teaching after you've finished this episode. All right, so building your own 7-figure brand involves those 3 steps: building an audience, building a database, and then generating sales. Now, let's start with building an audience. And for me, I started building an audience on YouTube, but you could also use other platforms like LinkedIn or start your own podcast. Now, you may say, why didn't I mention short form platforms like Instagram or TikTok? And I'm not saying that those platforms don't work, and they can be really, really successful for many creators. But the reason for why I'm recommending that you start on a long form content, so whether that be YouTube, whether that be in LinkedIn, or whether that be in a podcast, is because the goal is to not get a large audience when you start. The goal is to get a highly engaged audience. And what you also want to do from there is that you want to focus in on one topic. Now, when it comes to what you should teach on, I know there's a trend for people to find the most profitable niche and then really focus in on that teaching. But really for me, I think the power in creating your own 7-figure brand comes from you sharing your own experience and your own skill set. So if you've been in the workforce for anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, I did it when I was in Google Ads and digital marketing for 15 years, but I've also come across people who have been able to start this journey only after being in the industry for 2 years. Whatever the industry is, whatever the niche is, you want to really focus what you've learned. And what you're really wanting to do is you're wanting to start by teaching people how to solve problems that you faced when you first started. So rather than going broad And a lot of people make the mistake of trying to go broad. The problem with going with really broad and generic terms is that you are then competing against real large players in your niche. Now, whatever your niche is, there's going to be already some other content creators, some other industry leading voices. You're going to be competing against them, and it can be really, really hard to break through. I recommend that you go for really specific topics. And the way that I did this is I used a service called Answer the Public. And what you do is you go to Answer the Public, you type in some different broad themes, and then that gives you a list of searches that people are actually searching. And then what I did is I just created content that matched the questions that people were asking. So if you want some extra tips on there, what I even did as well is that when I'd go to Answer the Public, you could also select it to be for YouTube. So you'd select the YouTube network, and then you could also select the country. And what that really gives you is it lets you to see, as I said, actual questions that real people are asking. And if you can answer those questions, you create content based around those questions. And when you're starting, what I'd also recommend is that you really break it down to a step-by-step process. Make it as easy to consume as possible and really make it as practical as possible. And if you go down this path, the benefit of it is, as I said at the start, you don't need a large audience. When I had only 1,700 subscribers, I think it was 1,701 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we did our first $5,000 a month. And then when we did our first $10,000 a month, we only had 2,700 subscribers. And then the crazy thing is that we were doing 6-figure months with a YouTube channel that was less than 20,000 subscribers. And the reason for that is because our focus was really teaching people the step-by-step process of how to solve their current problems. So what you want to be doing is, firstly, you want to focus on an area that you've got a skill set on. And I've seen this anything from public speaking through to, something I did like Google Ads, through to other people who've done other digital platforms. It could be about copywriting. I've been part of groups where people have got 6- and 7-figure businesses through teaching people how to record audio in their own home. Other people are language coaches. So the list is endless of what you can do. So what you would start off by doing is looking at your job. What are the skill sets that you know that people want to learn? And then from there, you basically go through, as I said, use a site like Answer the Public, really break it down into topics that people are asking, and then just create content which answers those exact questions. So that's the first part in how you build an audience. Then it comes to the second part, and this is where a lot of people fall down, is because you don't only want to build an audience, you want to build a database. Remember how I said before that you really want to focus on long form content. And when I say long form content, I mean any content which is going from anywhere between 8 minutes to 30 minutes. The reason for why that is such a powerful tool to start with is because you're not looking at going viral. Many creators fall into the trap of chasing views and likes and subscribers, and they're not actually building their own database. The creator economy is a massive economy, and it's growing every single month. The platform I'm a part of in Kajabi has actually just gone past the $8 billion of revenue that creators like me have generated through the platform. Crazy thing is that in March last year, so just a little over 12 months ago, they just passed the $5 billion mark. So in 12 months, creators have created an extra $3 billion in selling online courses, online coaching packages, online communities. So it is a fast growing avenue. But amongst all of that, only 4% of content creators are earning over $100,000 a year. So all of your favorite TikTokers, all of your favorite YouTubers, all of them, only 4% of them earn over $100,000 a year. And the reason for that is what I believe a lot of people are chasing likes and views and subscribers and not focusing on what really drives revenue as a content creator so that you can build your own 7-figure brand, and that is building your own database. And this is what I call owning your audience. And the reason for why this is so powerful is because when you own your audience and you've got a direct line to your audience where you've got their email, so you can send them out emails, so you can let them know about new products that you've got coming on board, that's where you're able to really build a sustainable business. Because many of us now know that your Facebook followers, your Instagram followers, even on YouTube, just because someone is subscribed to your channel or follows your profile, it doesn't mean that they'll see your new content. But if you're connected to my email database, I know that I can email you at any time. And that's the difference, and that's the power. So what you're looking at doing is you're taking the sales process offline. So you're helping people through your online content, then you're making connection with them, and then you're keeping the conversation going offline through email. And the way that you move someone from just following or watching your videos or consuming your content to actually joining your database is you do this process of what's called a lead magnet. And that's where you offer some extra teaching, some extra training in exchange for someone's email. So it becomes an equal transaction. And the great thing about this is that obviously people know that if they give you their email, they can very, very quickly unsubscribe if they're not seeing value in it. So the real key as a content creator, if you are going to really break through and continue to build your database, is that you need to not only give high value content away for free through your YouTube channel, LinkedIn, or whatever the platform is that you're using. The next step is then to give extra high value teaching or training tools, which truly helps the person and takes them further along the journey. And that's how you complete those first two steps. And that process, which I just walked you through, is how I'm able to build a 7-figure brand, because every single month on our Google Ads based channel, we're getting 6,000 new opt-ins to our database every single month. And that's what we do to complete our sales process. Grow your audience, grow your database, and then that's how you increase your revenue. And when it comes to that third step of building your income, if you do those first two steps right, you'll be amazed at how easy it is. And you'll even find that people will start reaching out to you before you've even got some products to sell. I know for me, in the early days when we started, we were getting people emailing me, asking me for one-on-one coaching. And this was before we even had any packages to sell. So we had to quickly go through and make some prices up. And what we found really, really quickly is that we had to very, very quickly increase those prices. I think we started it at $250 an hour, then increased it up to $400, and now that hourly rate is above $1,500. And the reason is just because we've got a large demand, we're able to charge more for those services. So don't make the common mistake of just jumping directly straight through to the sales process. You need to go through those first two important steps, building your audience and then building your database. So that was my encouragement to you today. Focus on those first two steps, and then the sales process becomes a much more easier task. But if you are already at that third level and you've got an audience and you've got a database, but you need to increase the selling, what I'd also recommend is, remember, if you go to 7figurecoaching.co/start, and that'll take you through the extra sales process. Or if you want to watch some extra teaching on YouTube, if you go through and watch this video right here, it'll take you through how I build out my 6-figure sales funnels. Or if you're listening to the audio version, just check the show notes and it'll show you how to see that extra training. Once again, thanks for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. See you later.